Yeah.
How's your week been? How are you doing? How are you feeling?
It's been a crappy week.
What?
Yeah.
Last
mostly.
week was a crappy week.
Was it? Oh,
Are you just having...
I'm losing weeks.
That's what I do. I go...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the lows for this week. And I
thought you were going to talk about the home improvement center lows because you're like...
Oh, no, that would be a good thing.
You're like the lows. And I'm like, what did the lows do?
Yeah, I got to go to Lowe's. But the lows for this week. And I can tell that I can't always tell that I'm in a bad mood until the boys start checking in multiple times a day and going, Are you okay? Are you all right?
Because you're acting different or something?
All three of them will do that.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, well, I must be giving off some kind of vibe because they're all three are asking how I'm doing.
Well, at least you're not like my old coworker at the Les Schwab. And I go, hey, man, are you all right? And he goes, get off my back, okay? One time. Well, I asked you one time, but okay. No problem. Won't check in again. My bad.
Anyways, and then it's just, I've never raised a little girl before. And most days are really cool, to have like a little backup lady, that's kind of...
Are you talking about the little girl who just earlier tonight says she didn't need me anymore? I just need mommy. I don't need you anymore, daddy.
It's usually cool because sometimes I'll go...
Is that cool? That didn't feel cool.
That was a bad moment.
Oh.
But it's usually cool because I'll go, can you calm down, please? And she'll chime in and go, yeah, just breathe. It's okay. That's, those moments are rad for me. But most of the time it's like, what did I do? What did I possibly do to offend such an adorable little me? What did I do? Well,
first of all,
and I don't know what I did.
You sinned. First of all,
how?
Well, you had to have sex to have her, so you're a sinner.
No,
first of all, so this is your punishment.
Thanks. I knew men were evil.
Oh man. Yeah, that's our whole goal. We'll get those women back. We'll get them. We're just going to put babies in them.
So that's usually has fun moments, but then the other moments are really terrible.
And we don't know because we've never had, she's our first girl. So we don't know if that's just normal for girl babies. I mean, there were definitely moments with the boys, but I just don't remember. And it's been a long time since we had a little one. So maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just we suppress those memories.
I guess. And I might have like a divergent brain and ADHD and maybe autism of some kind. So
let's not have TikTok.
It's mostly a TikTok diagnosis right now, but from all the evidence and all of my research, a lot of that makes sense to me.
I wouldn't be surprised if you have some sort of neurological diversity, right? I don't think that
because
autism doesn't sound right to me, but I'm not a doctor.
I mean, is there a part of autism where it makes you super highly emotional, where you feel just everything?
I don't know. Maybe.
I
know there's a whole spectrum of different effects of it.
Yeah. As a kid, I felt like there was something wrong with me. And I say wrong in quotation marks because everyone else seemed okay. And I was put into special ed classes and I was not okay.
Right.
And I wish Mrs. Gerard could walk me through my whole entire life because she would just help me find the words and just give me the time and space that I needed to get things done. Right. But it felt like everyone around me was okay, or at least faking it okay. And I was just all over the place and loud as can be and just emotional wreck.
Well, two things I'll tell you. One, special ed is not a bad thing. That all that means is that you didn't learn like everybody else. You needed a special attention learning, right? Yeah. Doesn't mean that you're bad or dumb or.
But that's not how they made you feel.
No, the other kids are pieces of shit. They're assholes, right? Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you had something wrong with you. Of course, teachers are mean. They're always mean. And then the second thing is feeling like you're different and everyone else is okay, that's a normal feeling. Everyone feels that. I felt that my entire life. I've always felt like I wasn't like everyone else, right? I've always felt like, well, I'm so different. No wonder people are annoyed by me or, don't want to hang out with me or don't love me or whatever reason, because I'm so different. I'm such a weird person.
Yeah.
But, maybe I was just meant for something different.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I am a bad person or that I am different or that I am weird. I mean, what is normal? We've talked about this before. It doesn't mean anything.
I know. And I have to stop saying normal, and I have to replace it with average, right?
Who wants to be average?
I know
be above it.
Okay,
above average.
Okay, but
baby.
in like 1990, it was not cool to be in the special ed class,
No, I don't think in school
wearing a back brace. That was not cool. That was not the definition of cool.
I'm sorry.
Rite Aid tennis shoes with a back brace and you're like 6 feet tall.
Help.
Yeah, my 5th grade haircut did not help me.
Yeah.
It did not give me the status that I was looking for. Thank you.
You did win funniest girl in the 6th grade though. So it gave you something. It gave you a humor.
Let me tell you about that certificate. And
okay,
at the time I was pretty proud of it.
Well, you should always still be proud of it.
No, because it's a combo certificate. It is, and I love you, Mr. Clifford, but it says, and I quote, funniest girl and best recovery from surgery. Spoiler, I was the only person that had surgery in my whole school that year.
Well, but maybe it was a paper issue and not like a pity issue, right? Maybe it's like we don't have enough paper to print 2 awards, right?
I think they just thought they were being cute and clever.
No,
and really
I think they were trying to give you funniest girl, but then the surgery happened and they're like, well, let's tack on the surgery part 2 to try to, because we don't know how to really be around her now because this is such a hard thing for her to have to deal with.
Yeah, I guess.
But that's me again, seeing the best in people.
Which I hate. Which I hate because
great
people, that's not what people are about.
Well, I know. I like to try to believe that though.
So I have a TikTok diagnosis of being not average.
Yeah.
And
well, when I was a kid, when I was a child, they tried to put me into special classes as well because they determined that I had ADHD because I wouldn't pay attention in a class, right? Mm-hmm. Or I was bad at paying attention in class.
Yeah.
Well, what they found.
What's for me now is that I can't pay attention to one thing. I mean, that's mom brain too, but I can't focus.
Yeah.
My brain goes everywhere. It's like that one thing where someone will say something and I'll go, what? And then like 2 seconds later, I'll understand what they actually said. Mm. But it just kind of comes out of my mouth. I go, what? Even though I heard what they said, but my brain doesn't translate it quickly enough.
So you think that you just need more time to process things?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a flaw necessarily. Does it feel like a flaw?
It's like having an iPhone 6. Everyone's on the 12s or beyond now. I don't know what it is now, but it's like having a 6.
The majority of people I know take longer to process than someone, like one of our kids, Yeah.
I think that's why I don't like phone calls, because what if they ask me a weird question I don't know the answer to? I'll go, they'll go, hello, are you still there? I've heard that a million times. I can't do it.
That's why I had to learn how to bullshit real early on, right? So that you don't have to get yourself in those situations.
But it's hard because I can't think and say the bullshit at the same time. Like, oh, that's a really great question. I'm going to have to, no, my brain goes,
You do really well if you are prepared ahead of time for the phone call and you've written down
I write a
answers.
Script.
Yeah. But then if they throw like a question you weren't prepared for, then that shuts you up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And okay, so perfect example, we go to the grocery store last weekend and I go to the bagel part of the bagel section. There's no everything bagels.
Yeah.
And my brain goes, oh my God, there's no everything bagels. What are we going to do?
The world is collapsing.
And so then my brain goes, well, Why isn't there any everything bagel? It's only 8:00 in the morning. Who didn't put out the everything bagel? Who's not doing their job well enough to not put out the everything bagel?
So your mind doesn't go to...
I look over and there's a lady and I go, she would know. And then I go, hey, babe, because I go, hey, babe, why don't you go ask her if she knows where the everything bagels are? Then I have to turn around because if I see you approach a stranger that you do not know, I'm talking about it and I'm getting flushed. I start sweating. It is not a good look.
You get nervous. You panic when I approach people.
Yes,
strangers?
because it could be an awkward situation that you scare them, or that they fall backwards, or I just don't know what, or they start yelling at you.
What am I going to do?
I just don't know.
Hey, boo!
Anything could happen in that moment, so I have to push the cart into another section, hoping that you saw where I went. So you track me down. You go, hey, she's got some everything bagels. And then I go, that's not good. I go, well, how many did you get? Because it can't possibly be the good outcome for me.
Right.
And you go, oh, I got 2 6-packs. I go, oh my God, thank you for reading my mind. That's so great. And then on the way to the checkout, I can't think about, I just got exactly what I wanted. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I didn't have to do anything crazy. My brain just goes, well, why didn't she put them out sooner? Why isn't she not doing her job? Like, I can't even be happy in those moments. Right. I have to go, those bagels would already been out if I was working there. If I was doing that job, those bagels would have been out because everyone loves everything bagels. And I know that one lady, she comes in here every Sunday and she wants everything bagels.
Oh, no.
To last her throughout the week because bagel time is precious time. But my brain can't let it go. It can't even be happy that I got 2 6-packs of bagels.
So after I got you the bagels, you weren't happy?
No, because I go, he must have not got the right amount. Or why didn't she put them out sooner? Or what's wrong with these ones? Why is she hiding them in the back for herself?
They were fresh.
I don't know.
They were fresh.
I know, but it's my brain that can't just accept or possibly like fight for what I want. Or maybe that lady would know more information. I just can't do it.
So when we're in a store,
it's frightening.
And I start acting like a child and I try to talk to strangers and ask them questions. Like,
and you hug them and you say, Barbara, wood shop is 67. Yes, it is horrifying. It is horrifying for me. I have to leave the aisle, the store, the parking lot. I have to leave.
I don't have.
I run.
I don't have that. You know how some people don't have a fear response? Mm-hmm. I don't have a stranger danger response.
You're like, take me, please. Okay. And
should you get in the van? Yes.
No, you should not. No, you should not. I'm the first one to yell at people in the movies like, what are you doing that for? Yeah. Why are you running in the dark by yourself? This does not make any sense.
We're watching that Little Things movie last night, the new Jared Leto and Denzel Washington movie. And we're watching the movie and like, every couple of seconds, I hear you say something under your breath, and you're like, "No, no, he's creepy. Why does his eyes look like that?"
You just tainted the witness.
I just watched the movie. You're gonna find out the same time I do.
I just don't know. I don't know. It's like a fear. It's like a fear thing. I'm scared of everything, but then I demand everything, and everything's got to be in the details, right? I harp and I obsess on little tiny details. And if it's not right, then I go, well, why isn't it right? Yeah. Because I know that I'm smart enough to figure it out.
See, that's the thing for me is you are extremely intelligent. But if you do have something where your brain requires you to stop, process all of your options before you respond, then that does make like everyday scenarios a lot harder for you.
Yeah. Cause you go, where's the tape measure? And I go, cause okay, but in my defense, it could be in one of 4 places, right?
Right.
We keep the tools in several different places because our garage is crazy.
We need to fix that.
You know, I don't know, give me like 2 minutes and I will either find the tape measure or I will know where it is by like processing it in my storage brain unit.
Right. And I can be impatient when I need something that I can't find. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's not fair because I process fast, right? Like my processing is very quick.
Yeah.
So I don't, like, if you ask me for something, if I know where it's at, it's here you go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing a puzzle with Cameron.
Right.
And he's got half the puzzle done and I haven't put 5 pieces together yet.
That's
and
not
I'm like,
true. That's an exaggeration.
I even said to him, I said, can you please slow down? Because I'd like to do some of this puzzle too.
I'd like to do some of this puzzle too.
And it's one of those ones where you put all the pieces together and then it has like another envelope with a surprise ending. And then you rearrange the big pieces and I barely opened the envelope. And I'm like sorting where like the edge pieces are and stuff, which you do. Yeah. That's like puzzle rule number 1, I thought.
Step 1, yeah.
Is to separate the edge pieces. And before I could even do that, he's already got like 15 pieces together. And I'm like, Cameron, though, but I want to know the ending too before you do. It's just like...
Oh, boy.
And... Not to mention, if you lose one piece of the puzzle and it gets stuck in your Roomba for like 4 days.
This sounds very specific.
And it gets stuck in your Roomba for 4 days, you will have mind sweats of where that one puzzle piece went.
Was that really bothering you for a long time?
Yes, because then I even had you email the company. It was like, can we get this one piece?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we can't give you just one piece, but we can give you a whole new puzzle. And I'm like, I don't want a whole new puzzle because then that one will be missing a piece too. How does that solve my problem? How?
No,
How does it solve a problem?
No, they were saying you can have a new puzzle.
You know what I mean.
Right.
And so, and then I feel crazy that I've been like, okay, well then someone... just forgot to put that one piece in the box.
I know. You winded yourself to show me the piece you'd recovered from the Roomba.
And then 4 days later, even though this is his job, his daily job is to empty the Roomba.
Yeah.
He finally empties the Roomba and he goes, oh, we don't need a new puzzle. And I'm like, why are you just now finding this? Like anyway, this is what my brain does on a daily basis. And this week alone, it's been great.
I know. It sounds like you've
the highlight. The highlight of the week is they have finally solved the formula of vegan, dairy-free fish food ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
To now take up... a lot more.
Really shitty timing, Ben and Jerry's. Really shitty timing, Ben and Jerry's. I gave up ice cream 2 months ago. You sons of. So you.
This is how my brain is. So welcome.
I know, and here I think that like I have the weight problem, right? And you've never had a weight problem in your life, so you don't really understand what that feels like to be overweight. I don't know what it feels like to have to slow my brain, you know what I mean? Slow down and think things through, right? I can just process really fast.
Yeah. I think it's just recall is just...
Yeah, I've always been able to do that. And so I don't really, I don't have the same empathy understanding for that for you as you don't, for me,
yeah. Well, it's weird because I've been on the other side of that where I've been underweight after my surgery and during my childhood. I've always been underweight.
Yeah.
Because eating was always a very difficult, weird thing for me that I could control it because I couldn't control other things in my life. I wasn't diagnosed with an eating disorder. It just kind of...
You used it as a control method for your life.
Yeah. And most of what I ate was very meat heavy or very dairy heavy because my parents, whatever. Yeah. So it would always upset my stomach. Most dairy just made me want to
So it was easier for you to
Yeah. It was very easy to just stop eating stuff. So I've been on the other side where my spine stuck out so much that they could very easily identify that I had curvature, the spine. And always been able to see every rib. Like, it's just not. So I've seen the other side of it where I just couldn't gain weight.
Yeah.
I had a hard time gaining weight, and I know that's sucky to hear, you know.
Yeah, I just walked past a box of chocolates the other day and put 10 pounds on.
I did not.
Okay, so did you have anything else up for this week that you wanted to?
No, this is the episode right here. This is I've already taken up all your time.
This is our show. So I have one update for the week.
Okay, sorry for taking up the whole time.
What are you talking about?
Sorry.
Stop. You didn't take up.
I'm sweaty now.
You're sweaty.
I'm like an SNL skit, you know?
You were getting really like, oh,
I know. I was fluffing up because it's just, it gets a whole, some days are worse than others.
Yeah.
But it just, and then if you don't get good enough sleep, then it just compounds. So you're still carrying around yesterday's. Like, I can wake up irritated. Like, as a woman, normally, I think.
You mean like I did on Wednesday?
Yeah. I think you can just wake up and already just be, today sucks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's very, very common and very, very easy for me, you know, but I don't know how to fix that either.
Well, Fred is still having like.
Not sleeping. She's
not sleeping through the night because she's very attached to you. And so she wants you to be there. And if she wakes up, like, normally if a kid wakes up a little bit, if they feel safe and comfortable, they just fall back asleep on their own.
Yeah. She's not ever safe and comfortable, I don't think.
No, because you're not there.
Unless she's right next to me.
Unless you're right there, yeah. And so she'll wake up, and then once she wakes up, she starts wanting to play, and then you don't get as much sleep because she won't let me handle any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't need me anymore.
Yeah.
So you're not getting a lot of good sleep, and I know what that's like. I woke up from a nightmare on Wednesday. And then I couldn't go back to sleep. Mm-hmm. And so I basically woke up at 3:00 in the morning and then had to put in a full day of work. And by the end of the day, I was like, son of a, I hate everything. I was just shitty all day. I'm sorry for that. And then last night I wake up with my back's hurting. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I found a position I could go back to sleep and I didn't have a repeat. But this Saturday, the 6th, February 6th, by the time anybody's listening to this, I guess.
So just say Saturday the 6th.
Yeah, Saturday the 6th is the 20th anniversary of my personal website, lehu.com.
Yay.
And I've been working in my free time. Huh?
You've been maintaining it and keeping it relevant for a long time.
I've been keeping it up to date. It's on version 66 currently.
Yikes.
And I've just put the finishing touches tonight on version 67, which is also the 20th anniversary edition. It's got a lot of little nods to the past, and I'm going to be putting that up probably tonight at midnight because I won't be able to wait. Mm-hmm. Or maybe just first thing in the morning. But I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to share it out into the world. It's been a few versions since I had one that I was like, oh, I really am excited to share this with people.
Yeah.
So that if you're listening to this right now, it's already up and you can go to lehu.com and take a look at it. Yeah. And don't forget to check out dark mode and keep an eye on Harvey.
Yay. He's super cute.
Yeah, Harvey is adorable. Okay. So now we're on to the quote of the week.
Do you have a jingle?
No.
Come on.
No, the jingle. I'm too stupid for the jingle.
You are not. You are not.
This the quote of the week.
Okay, that one was maybe dumb. No.
I want to do one.
What was that?
I want to do one, but I want to do it right, and I keep forgetting before we record. I want to do one, and I want to do one for Thing of the Week too. Maybe I'll put some time into it this weekend after I put the website up.
Yeah, because then,
I'll play around in GarageBand and see what I can come up with.
There you go. That's how you do it.
It comes free with my software when I install it on my computer. So that's what I'll try. So quote of the week. This week you're going to do the honors with quote, right?
Because it goes along with our topic.
Okay.
It's a Walt Whitman quote.
I love Walt Whitman.
Quote.
Well,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
I love Walt Whitman.
Okay. Quote.
Asterisk.
Jeez Louise. Asterisk.
Yeah.
Quote. Dismiss whatever insults your own soul.
Yeah.
Quote. Unquote.
Yeah, I dig that. That you know what's great about that is that's so true, right? We really should not really allow things to come in and be part of ourselves if it sucks, right? If it makes you feel bad, then fucking boot it. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, you're allowed to have boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it makes you a snowflake or whatever the GOP likes to say now.
You know, for instance, if you if you can't handle scary movies, then you shouldn't have to watch scary movies. You know.
No, you should not have to watch scary movies.
All right. Oh, do you want to just go into our topic?
We are going to go into the thing of the week, but first we should say a little disclaimer.
Okay.
Because it's going to be...
You handle that because I'm scared.
Well, I think the topic is something that is important to discuss, but I want to give our listeners a trigger warning, first of all, because we're going to, in the process of discussing this topic, we're going to have to discuss
these people's offenses.
Hard things, right? Like, domestic abuse, sexual assault, racism, right? And we are by no means experts in any of those things. And we're still learning. We're trying to be good citizens and humans and partners to the people who share the earth with us. And so we're going to talk about this subject, but if we fuck up and we say something that's, offensive, that wasn't our intention, and we're sorry, and we will do everything in our power to correct that. I don't think we're going to hit anything that's, going to do that, but I just want people to know that this is a tough topic. It's not going to be easy to talk about intelligently, and we're trying our best to navigate this with everybody else in the world. So with that, what is the thing of the week?
Okay, so my question to you and to our 4 listeners is...
5 listeners.
5?
Yeah, I listen.
Oh, okay, you listen to it too? Okay, great. All right.
Yeah.
Should you, can you,
yes,
and how do you separate the art from the artist?
Yes.
Because also this week, it has come to the public's attention. Most likely people on the inside knew more than they were saying, but publicly at least, we have discovered that Marilyn Manson has been abusive in his relationships with ladies.
Right. Can I say I wasn't that surprised by that, though?
No, I wasn't either, but I think it was my bias on his appearance anyways.
Right.
And not like his music necessarily, but just in the way he performs. You could kind of tell that maybe he's not a gentle lover. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I don't know how to say it nicely, but like you could kind of tell like how do I say it nicely?
You don't have to say it nicely. He's a abuser.
Okay.
There's
all
nothing,
right.
you don't have to be nice to him.
Okay. He's been accused. And then I guess a few weeks ago, Shia LaBeouf was also accused of being abusive in his relationships, his past ones. And now, do you listen to Sweet Dreams by Marilyn Manson or Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson and just go, okay, well, these pieces of music are art and he was performing during this time, or are those songs now tainted? And is every Shia LaBeouf movie tainted because of who he is and what he has done?
So
I mean, there's like a ton of other examples of these people, but I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, the Hollywood is, right, Hollywood alone is filled with people who, the music industry is filled with people who do bad things, right? So my opinion has changed on this a little bit over the years as I get older and as I change who I am, right?
Yeah.
At first I thought, oh yeah, no, of course you can separate art from the artist, right? First of all, in a lot of these cases, and I don't want this to come across as like I'm defending anybody, I'm not. But in a lot of the cases, it's accusations and nothing has been like proven in a court of law or any like, charges have, or not, convictions. No convictions have been made, right? But that doesn't matter, I think. As I get older and I get, I think about it more, I don't think that it matters if they've been punished for it.
Right.
If they did it and there's a preponderance of evidence that they did it, then yeah, you probably want to stop, patronizing them in some way, right?
Because your money and your dollars are basically votes, right?
Right.
So if I want more vegan options, I'm going to buy more vegan options because that's where I want my money to vote, right? And so like buying an album, does that vote for him? Does buying a DVD or buying a movie ticket or a streaming ticket, does that vote for him?
Yeah.
And we should always...
If you know somebody said something shitty or did something shitty, like if somebody says something racist and then you're like, oh, well, he's just a crazy uncle. I'm going to go ahead and continue buying his things because I liked his things before I knew he was an asshole. Then yeah, you are saying, hey, what you said has no repercussions or consequence.
Right.
Now, on the other hand, here's a good example. Recently, a board game designer who I own many of their games because they are a solid board game designer, came out and said something very racist. Okay. And it's a big topic right now in the board gaming industry. And he got dropped by some publishers, and some publishers said, we're not going to publish this game that he made anymore. And I think that's the right choice, right? But where do I go? Like, I know I'm not going to buy any more games from him, but I already own several. I already paid for. Yeah. Right? Do I keep them or do I get rid of them on principle? I've already spent the money. He's already got the money. Right. Right? The damage is already done there. But on the other hand, I don't think I can play them again without thinking about this racist bullshit that he spouted, right?
Exactly. It just wouldn't feel good to your soul.
It doesn't feel good to my soul. And I think I have decided that I'm going to offload those games. But it's kind of like 100% never buying another game of his. Yeah. Ever, if he ever gets one published again. Yeah. But I already spent the money on these other ones. Am I doing a bad thing by throwing them in the garbage? Or selling them to somebody else and profiting off of that? Yeah. Or is that the right thing to do because I don't want to in any way support that behavior? Yeah. Because I'm 100% anti-racist. Exactly. Right? And the question isn't support him or not. The question is, once I've already supported him in the past because I wasn't aware, once I am aware, then what do I do with that stuff I've already purchased? Yeah. I think I throw it away. It's like once you know the truth, you can't pretend, unsee it. Yeah, you can't pretend you didn't know. You don't know that anymore. Right. You know that. Yeah, I can't enjoy Led Zeppelin the way that I used to once I found out the bad shit about Jimmy Page. Here's another reason why I want to be an advocate for always believe a victim. Now, there are instances where victims make something up or something gets carried away and it's false accusation. But isn't that much more rare than it being true? Absolutely. Yeah. And we see this in I don't know what I'm saying right there, but as a person in the public, if I listen to a Led Zeppelin song, I don't know the names of the members of the band. Right. So I am therefore ignorant to whoever Jimmy Page is. Right. So how can I know that everything that I'm consuming art-wise as a consumer or even just social media or whatever it is, how do I know for a fact that the things that I like or the things that are popular, so I listen to or I read or I watch or I
look at
Yeah.
is 100% on the up and up, and no one's been hurt.
You can't. You can't. And that's the thing that I'm saying is like I own. Let me count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games by this designer, all purchased before he made those racist comments on Twitter. Mm-hmm. There's no way for me to have known that.
Yeah.
Right? He is a solid game designer. He's an artist when it comes to game design, but he's also a racist piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I can't support that. I'm just not going to support that. Right?
Yeah.
I've walked away. I've walked away from relationships over less.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But I can't be held accountable for not being aware of his attitudes that he hadn't made public before then for those past purchases. But now that I know, I can be held accountable because now I am aware of what his activities and behaviors are. Yeah. And so now I have to make a decision. Never play these games again and throw them in the garbage. Uh-huh. Never buy games from him again, right? Because here's the thing. One of those 6 games I adore, but the next time I play it, all I'm going to be thinking about is how he uses the N-word.
Yeah.
When he talks to his friends. What?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Right? So I won't enjoy it anymore, so it doesn't need to be here. Mm-hmm. And I think that if somebody who is an artist, for lack of a better term, is creating consumables, and you're consuming them, and you don't realize, oh, they're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Then that's okay. There's no onus on you to go and do a deep dive background check.
Yeah, I feel like I need to vet everyone now.
Yeah, I don't think that's where we need to go with it.
Okay, so now there's something else that comes into play that I also think about as well. So there's an actor who's very clearly has substance abuse problems, right? And he's at a party and he tells something very vicious and mean to Winona Ryder, who,
Mel Gibson.
Okay, yes, right. Who
we're playing that game now?
Yeah. So
look, first of all,
she's not.
First of all, who would ever say something vicious to Winona Ryder?
Right.
Have you seen her? She's a goddamn angel.
No, well, she's done some bad things in her past too.
Yeah, I'm sure she has.
And so now my question is,
right.
And okay, so me specifically, me personally, I really badly wanted to see a Mel Gibson movie called Fat Man, where he plays Santa. Okay, it's like a dark, not supposed to be funny, but is funny, or maybe it is supposed to be funny, but it's very like a dark thing. And I made concessions for it and I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Now, do I feel very guilty because there is actual proof that he said some very mean things to his previous partners.
Yeah.
God
he's an
knows what he does.
right?
Yes, God knows what he does in his private time, but publicly he's been awful.
Well, if he's publicly the way that he is, then privately it's worse.
Right. So then you get now I feel guilty for liking something.
We should not have watched that movie.
No.
I wasn't aware of the Winona Ryder stuff before we watched that movie.
Me neither. That was a recent thing as well.
I was aware of the thing where he yelled at
his previous partner on the phone. There was a voicemail of some kind.
I thought that was Alec Baldwin. I thought he yelled at a cop or something.
Alec Baldwin
we're getting off track.
Left a voicemail for his daughter one time too and was very vicious and evil, but
I thought that he'd left an anti-Semitic message somewhere and then apologized for it and was because of he blamed it on alcohol and stuff, and I thought that was all past us. I didn't realize he was a repeat offender, but knowing that now, cannot support the man.
And I guess when you know better, you can make better decisions and more informed choices.
Right.
Oh, boy.
There's also this thing though with Hollywood and celebrity in general.
Yeah.
It's pretty certain that, with very few exceptions, that most celebrities are going to have, for lack of a better term, blood on their hands for some reason.
Yeah.
So what do? You say, well, I'm not going to consume any media. And then in the case of the Fat Man movie, Mel Gibson is one piece of that movie. And then you have 250 people who don't get any screen time at all that were counting on a paycheck from that movie. So do you punish 300 people for one person's actions when the punishment
He's already been paid?
Well, the punishment should have come in the form of you can't be in this movie.
Yes. Right.
Right?
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I
struggle with it.
I tend to lean towards you don't punish the other people involved, but maybe the other people being involved at all is them being complicit, and so maybe they don't deserve the money either, right? I don't know the right answer there. That one is kind of here. I will say it is not cut and dry.
Not all situations are black and white, right?
But the anti-Semitic behavior from Mel Gibson is black and white, and it should not be tolerated in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
But what about the other people that affects, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know how to, like back to that board game thing. Most of those games he designed with other designers. So now those
other designers are tainted as well.
They're getting punished, right?
Yeah.
Because the board game is never going to be published again. So those other two designers that helped publish that or helped design that game aren't going to get royalties either over something that he did, his actions that they couldn't control.
Right.
And that's where I think it starts to get really muddy. Is how do you treat those situations where one person is a total fucking asshole, but he's ruining it for a whole bunch of other people who have no control over it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we were talking about this on our walk, a more personal situation. Let's say you are working, it's the pandemic, you're working at a Kroger or a grocery store, and your supervisor says some racist shit.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay your bills? Nobody's hiring, right? Do you stand up to that because it's the right thing to do, which it is?
Yes.
Or do you say, I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen because I can't afford to not pay my bills because the fucking way that this country's set up, right?
Yeah. And I have told my own kids that they've run into certain situations where they didn't really have control of the matter of what was happening around them or what was being said around them. Right. And they come to me for guidance, and I really don't have any except for you just have to try to pick your battles and keep your head down. Because
but see, that's coming from a place of privilege,
I know. Right? Yes, exactly. But they're,
because think of it this way.
Yes, I agree. It's very privileged to be able to just go, well, I'm going to say something if I can, but if I can't, I'm just going to try to keep myself safe.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully,
I think there's a lot of gray area there.
Thankfully, if it wasn't like, a terrible situation, but, you have to pick your battles because you got to stay safe and you don't want anyone else to hurt. And for me, I would run in front of a bullet for an animal if I could. Now I know I shouldn't because I have a family and I have people who need me. But to me, I just can't stand there and let that happen.
Right.
I'd have to do something, but it's not safe to do something also. It's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I don't think it's like a blanket statement you can say or follow. It has to be a situation, and there is a spectrum of.
I just think it can't be as cut and dry, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that and there's just some cases where, let's say you're working at a business, and the business has a contract with another business that has a contract with ICE.
Yeah.
You personally don't agree with ICE, right? But then you have to use that software because that's what your company's using and paying for.
Yeah.
Right. There's a point where you're powerless.
Yeah.
Right. And so then you have to decide, okay, well, this is where it fucking sucks, is because that you even have to make this decision. Do I put food on the table, or do I follow my ethics and morals?
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so it gets really muddy. It gets super muddy, and it's super hard to determine what's the right call. Now, for me, I'm very privileged, that if I come across that kind of thing, I have the stability in my life that I can make the choice to say, no, fuck you. I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
I'm moving on. Mm-hmm. But that's not the case for most people.
Yeah.
The majority of people. You know, one of these board games costs $50, right? You go down to the store, you buy it, you're playing it, you catch wind that the guy's a racist. $50 is a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So what do you do? Yeah. Right? Or, you know, your favorite musician in the world is Michael Jackson. And then you find out that it's quite possible that he molested children. What do you do?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I struggle with it.
It taints his entire body of work.
Yeah, because
just the accusation taints it.
Even if you,
but is that fair?
No, it's not fair. I mean, it is to a certain degree, but he can't be punished.
Right, he can't be punished because he's passed away, right? But is it fair that an accusation's been made that he never got tried for, and we don't know? Right? Is it fair to say, okay, well, since he never got arrested for it, or he did get arrested for it. If he never got convicted for it, then it's okay to keep listening to his music. But is it?
Yeah.
Child molestation's not
that even,
okay.
I struggle. That's why I thought that this would be a good topic to talk about.
I hate this topic.
Well, because it can.
This is so uncomfortable.
It can go one way for one situation, and it can go another way for another situation. And I know, like,
but I'm the kind of person who just wants to say,
yeah,
if you do something, if you harm another person with your words or with your fists or with your actions, fuck you. You can't be part of my life in any form or fashion. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
But it's just not that easy because there are just, you know.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. And
I made no point.
No, but I know. I think I know because, okay, so specifically, right? I guess maybe we can't be specific, but okay, so bottom line.
Yeah.
Not everyone can be Keanu Reeves or Tom Hanks. Okay, that's really what we've.
But do we even know either one of them? Like, do we even know that they're really, like, I want to believe Keanu Reeves is great and Tom Hanks is awesome, and that Mr. Rogers actually weighed 143 pounds every single day of his life, and he went to the grave being just the most lovely man and never got mad and just played piano and sang songs to people because he really loved people. I want to believe that, but we don't know the true secrets behind anybody.
I guess that's why you just don't idolize anyone.
I feel like I'm a good person, but I have things about myself I don't want other people to know.
Oh, absolutely. We all have that very private, part of ourselves that even somebody we've known our entire lives, we don't show that to because we go, they will think that we are a weirdo.
I grew up in a time and in a place where I cultivated a lot of very stereotypical accents to try to make gang members laugh so they wouldn't beat me up.
Yeah.
And I perfected those accents and I don't do them anymore because...
Out of respect.
Because it's just, they're wrong.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, they were still wrong, but nobody said they were wrong.
I don't think we were as aware.
No, I don't think we were as...
And we didn't have computers in our pocket where we could go, let me look up exactly what this Kevin Spacey shit is all about.
Right, but also when I do my Hispanic accent that I cultivated and learned in Northern California, it's out of respect for that culture and those people. It's not me making fun of them, right? But it's still inappropriate for me to do that voice.
Yes, I agree. And it bleeds into another category. Right. Can you like a different culture because you feel it?
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
But you can't because then that's appropriating certain things.
No, there's a line. Appreciation, like,
But publicly no one's going to know that. They're just going to see you wearing, something and go, well, you can't wear that because that's from someone else's culture.
No, I think there's a line. I think there's a very clear line for that, right? So like a lot of times I'll draw pictures and then I'll put Mandarin kanji in those pictures. And I always make sure I find the exact correct thing I'm trying to say. I also make sure that it doesn't mean something differently, we ran into that thing where the kanji for frog is equivalent
to the female genitalia.
Right. And so you didn't end up getting that tattooed on your arm.
I got the frog part, but I didn't get the.
But I always try to, if I'm using that language that I don't speak, but I appreciate and think is gorgeous and beautiful, and you know, the brush strokes and all of that stuff, I make sure that I do my research and get the right one.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I was little, I really liked Native American culture. You know, you just stupidly, I guess, I wasn't taught the right way to be.
Right.
So, you know, now we all know that you're not supposed to dress as Native Americans for Halloween.
Right.
Well, stupidly, I dressed as a Native American lady with the braids, and my dad made these little hairpiece things for my braids because I had long black hair and stuff, and I wanted to be a Native American lady for Halloween out of love for it, not because I was going, ha, this is a costume,
Right.
but because I liked it. But the problem was I shouldn't have dressed like that, because we had Native American people in my school who were probably offended.
Right.
But all I meant it was I liked it because I would rather be anything other than being the bad guy, right? When you play cowboys and Native Americans, I didn't want to be the cowboys that were hurting animals and being mean and shooting people.
Right.
I wanted to be the native people who were peaceful. I mean, that's at least how I saw it.
Well, here's a couple of things about that. One, yes.
I was a kid. I didn't know.
It's culture, not a costume, right?
Yeah.
But you were a kid and you didn't have any idea that you were doing anything inappropriate. You weren't trying to hurt feelings.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't. I just can't go back and say stuff now.
You know better.
Yes.
And you don't repeat that behavior. That is the key to all of this, is once you know, you don't repeat the behavior. And then that's growth. That's learning. That's moving forward, right?
Yeah.
If you go up to somebody and you say the N word, and then they go, hey, you can't say that. And you go, why can't I say it? And you argue.
Yeah.
You're not learning, you're not growing, right? But if you're not, I'm not saying this is ever okay, but if you go up and you do that, and then the person's like, hey, you can't say that because of the, that's just not okay for you to say. And they don't even have to give you an explanation. And you go, oh, I didn't realize that was inappropriate, and I didn't mean to offend you, and I'm going to try to be better.
Yeah.
And you try to move on. I think it's okay for people to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? This whole internet cancel culture thing, I think can go too far sometimes, but the person has to be willing to accept, okay, I fucked up, and here's a genuine apology, and I'm going to try to do better, and then stop that pattern of behavior.
But not everyone has a healthy ego like that.
No, most people immediately, when confronted about something like that,
They're
will
defensive.
defend themselves and just make things worse.
Yes, exactly.
If someone ever comes to me and says, hey, I feel like what you said in a meeting, or I feel like what you said on your podcast crossed a line and it made me feel offended, I would apologize. And I wouldn't even feel like they needed to explain to me why I offended them.
Right.
I would apologize, and I would find out what it is that offended them, and I would stop that behavior.
Yeah.
Because I want to be better. I don't want to be the person who doesn't learn and grow.
Yeah.
Right? I'm old, but I'm not an old dog. I can learn new tricks. Help me.
Even old dogs can learn new tricks.
And just to be clear, I am not asking anyone to police my behavior. All I'm saying is that if I do offend you, then please talk to me, because I'm open and I want to learn. I want to be better. Yeah. And there's no way I can know everything.
Yeah. I don't think there is any way anyone can know everything.
No. No, there isn't a way to know everything.
Yeah.
So I think that to answer the original question.
Okay. Should you?
Yes.
Can you?
Absolutely. But not always. Sometimes it depends. There's factors in can you.
Yeah.
But should you? Yes.
You can separate the art from the artist?
I can, but you can't always.
Yeah.
It depends on the context of the situation. Like the Kroger example I gave,
like if there's no way around it, you got to do what you got to do to put food on the table and to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And to stay safe.
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, survival is going to always trump your moral and ethical views, right? But I don't think that it should always, right? I think that your morals and your ethics, you should be standing by them as steadfastly as you can. Yeah. But you got to take each situation in context. So should you? Yes. Can you sometimes?
How do you?
It depends.
Yes.
It depends.
And you just got to check your gut.
Yep.
You know, if it makes you feel unsafe
or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or it just makes you feel bad. Yeah.
If it triggers you, you know, absolutely.
Yeah.
Deleted from the playlist, you know?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I haven't listened to Michael Jackson since those things came out. And if your name is Leora and you went to Sonoma Valley High School, you know how much I like Michael Jackson. Okay. But I just can't do it. I was molested. I can't think about, the idea that maybe he was molesting people.
And just because there's no proof doesn't mean that he wasn't. And
proof doesn't mean you're innocent. Lack of proof doesn't mean you're innocent. It just means that you were careful.
Yeah, which is just sad for me.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
If it triggers you, protect yourself and just don't. I think that's what it comes down to is I got to just check my gut. Yep. And I didn't know, I didn't know certain things, but I know certain things now, and I can help lead my own kids into the right decision for them and the right decision overall, morally. And then each generation has just got to make better choices. And we have to also, we have to hold people more accountable than just, oh my God, you said that? That's awful.
Right.
We have to limit the amount of jobs that they can have, limit the amount of positions they can have, limit the amount of freedoms that they can get away with,
Well,
to a degree.
If it's a pattern of bad behavior, I don't think we go, oh, you said something one time that was really bad 12 years ago, you're canceled.
Right.
I think it's, hey, you said this really bad thing 12 years ago. Do you still feel that way? Yeah. And go from there. Right. But if somebody's constantly like being an a-hole, a racist, an a-hole, a sexist, an abuser, and it's a pattern of behavior, then fucking get them out of here.
That's what I'm saying. But as a consumer,
you can't know.
You can't know everything, and you got to trust your gut.
You can't know, and once you do know, then you have to make the decision on what your behavior going to be like from that point on, right? Yeah. Like it's with me with veganism. Before I understood the realities of factory farming, I didn't think twice about eating, animal products, right? I've never been a real fan of meat, but like cheese and sour cream, ice cream, hello, please. But as soon as I found out what the truth was there, I can't even consider it. Yeah. Right. I can't even consider eating those things anymore because I know what they're doing and it's just not okay. Right. It's like knowing that this board game designer is a racist. I can't even consider buying games from him anymore or playing his current games.
Because it goes back to what I said. What I have said over and over is that everything you see becomes a part of you. Everything you do becomes a part of who you are. Yeah. Everything you read, watch, all these things that, it becomes part of who you are.
Yeah. And the more you allow those things in, the more it changes your own worldview. Yeah. Right. The more exceptions you make. Yes. The more your worldview changes and the less you become.
Yeah. Authentically.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree.
Are you ready to wrap this one up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. I love you. Yeah. Love you too.
I love you too. The Lou and Me podcast is a Matthias production. The song is No Carpets by the New Forevers. Produced and edited by Moose. Hosted by Lou and me.
Thanks for listening.